Game 1, Episode 3 of Micronations, a free browser game where you control a kid in the neighborhood that runs a micronation and economies, and you can manage other kids either through your micronation or a business that you start. So I can't really remember what I was doing, but let's just take a look at actually I probably use this map here. This is your basically your player number. This is the personal kid that you control, which he is not displayed on the map, but sort of the administrating kid. Alright, so we have a base. This is Stadiopolis right here. We've claimed these houses. We have a base here. Blinking flags represent businesses, so it's not owned by a micronation, but it's still under sovereignty. Organization. Yeah, alright. And we have these two bases over here. Okay, so the currency should be pretty strong, maybe too strong, so let's go in here and print. Yeah, it's worth 909 each, so that's way too strong. I'm going to draft. And here's a parent right here, so you gotta look out for them. They'll send you home, and they'll ruin your bases, damage them at least if they land on them. Okay, let's prospectors out again. Three prospectors in this house. It's a lot. So basically we're just going to be prospecting for now until we issue enough currency to get it down to a reasonable level, and then we'll start a business. Oops, there's somebody in there. You can't move into a tile that already has someone in it. Alright, we'll prospect here. Oh my gosh, this parent. Oh, we did discover resources, that's good. Okay, down to 833. We at least got to get it down to 500, or 0.500, half of a cent, but probably should get lower than that. Okay, while we're waiting here, we can go to a different house. If you want to draft or hire a kid, your main kid has to be located at the house. So think of it that way. So I'm going to head down here, and then head back into Stadiopolis, where I can draft and find any more prospectors. There's one. See if there's any more. I mean, any kid can prospect, but it's really inefficient if you don't have a kid that has a positive attribute for prospecting. And then we'll go to our last house. And you can only draft at houses that you have sovereignty over. That's not the case for hiring. You can hire at any house that accepts the currency that you're hiring in, I believe. Okay, let's see. I think there's at least one. So this region is really good for prospectors. Right now, at least. Yeah, there's one. And you can click on conscripts to see everyone that you have drafted. And if you're signed in as a business, then this will be employees instead of conscripts. But you have to pay them. but they will work for you for longer. We'll print more. Thinking maybe I should start prospecting up here. Oh, more resources, alright. So this place is loaded with resources. And when you click this, you can see how long they're busy for their actions. And if they're using a vehicle. So I can claim this if I want. That would only claim sovereignty. It won't claim ownership. So AT organization will still own it, but then my micronation will replace this flag. Now, if they have someone defending the base, I'm not able to do that, but they don't. So how that would help me? Well, it would make my currency more accepted at this base, which would increase its value, which I don't want to do right now. It's completely pointless at this point. But usually in a regular game, you'd want to do that. So it looks like we're running out of now. This means this has already been prospected. So until a parent lands on this tile, that will then reset to a question mark. So you can only prospect on tiles with question marks. And it does help to have a plus sign next to the tile, which are adjacent. So it increases the odds of being successful. So I don't want to do this here unless there's absolutely no way, there's no plus signs around here. Okay, prints. And I usually prospect with my micronations because then you don't have to waste money hiring kids. But that's sort of a workaround about that. However, if there's not kids available, it might be a different situation. Okay, I don't see anything here, so I'm just going to try prospecting. Hope for the best. Oh, what luck. Rolls a 3. And I think I needed a roll under a 15 or a 10, I think I remember. Anyway, I got it. Let's check the conscripts out. We still have 2 guys that don't have too much busy time here. He failed. See if this guy can succeed or not. He does not, so we're going to have to go around him. Head up here. So prospecting successful are tiles with plus signs allow you to gather resources that you can then either sell and convert to goods, or convert them to goods at your base, or you can build bases with the resources. And goods are the ultimate way of scoring when you signed into your user account or your own account, the numbered account. Then you can, if you have any money, you can go to the bases and or houses and buy them, and that will contribute to points to your score. Doesn't find any. Alright, what are we at now? So we have a few guys left. We got this guy left in 50 seconds. And you can always go to the directory if you want to check out your currency or any other currency's value, and how many are issued, how many houses and bases accept them, and their value for each currency, which mine's way too high right now. nothing. But can print. And we at least got to, like I said, we at least got to get this under 500. And the purpose for that is so that when we issue a bond with our future business, because we sell it to a house, and they always buy a bond. They start at $1 value in currency, so I'll get 2 currencies, which will allow me to at least contract 2 kids instead of 1. So I double my workload. Now, if I can get it down to under 1/3 of a dollar, then I can contract, or if I get it down to 1/3, then I can contract 3 kids with that. If I can get it down to 250, then I can get 4. So that's the problem with what I did, is I went way too far with how many houses I claimed, which often you want to do that because you're in competition with others, but I'm not in competition with anyone right now, so I went overboard with that. So I'll probably just get down to 0.5 so I can get on with the game, but it's going to hamper me for sure. I don't know where this goes. Oh yeah, you can go southeast to Prospect. Alright, so we have our starting point here, and we can now let's try prospecting around this area. Print again. Okay, we're getting close. Didn't find any there. And then, while we're building up our business, we can also temporarily sign back in as our micronation and print some more. And prospect more if we want, but I probably am good on that for now. Nothing. Yeah, we're getting close. Oh, it's taking a long time. Big mistake by me. And now we're stuck with this parent risking to send our kids home. How many do we got? I don't think the parent sent any kids home yet. How much time's left on there? Oh, they still got over half their time before their duty ends. Probably send him there for efficiency, and then he can head up there. There's some water, which you need a raft to traverse. Oh, sent me home. Okay. At least I discovered resources before they sent me home. So now we are down to 4. This guy's slow. Nope, I see a good location to try this at. So yeah, this timer is just a different way of doing things, so that you can have simultaneous moves, and you don't have to wait for the end of turns. So you got to wait for the timer. There's in a turn-based game, there's only a couple ways you can do it. So that is a method. I use a method that is not common, so people are kind of confused by it, but I find it to be more efficient than everyone's take their turn and then you gotta wait for everyone. Because if you do that, you're depending on other people to continue your turn. But in this, you're not. You're just waiting. You manage your pieces, and you have complete control and understanding of when you're going to be able to manage your pieces. So I'm surprised more turn-based games do not use that method. We're going to print. Okay, we're down to 0.526. We got to at least get it to 500, because right now houses will buy bonds for the full price. So that was not like that before, but we had some bugs, and then when we fixed the bugs, it went back to that. So we may have to fix that so they don't buy it full price, but the downside of that is then you would have to get it below 500. So you got to be extra careful not to screw up like I did. I should say 0.500. Still got 4. Alright, here we are. Nothing. Now it is easier to find resources when you're prospecting on trees, or forests I should say, and actually I think it's more like a woods, and hills. Hills are the easiest I think to find. I'm not sure, but you have to check the manual. Yes, alright. Still not able to print. Okay, so this is where I want to go, but I'm risking his parents, so I'm going to try to... Well, I can go here too, so that's fine. Print. Okay, we're at 500, so technically I can get started now. How much time do these guys left before this? Oh, they got so much time, and I don't really need to prospect more. That's just what I'm doing while I'm printing, so I can actually be productive while I'm printing. So I'll just finish this off here. And that should do it for this episode, and we'll be back, and we will starting our firm next episode.